Good morning, everyone out there in Mandino land. We're going live this morning. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to gather. We're going to be promoting a special event over the next week called Augment Your Week. And every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be jumping on live and sharing with you some ideas, some principles, some practices, some processes that can assist you in having the very best day of your life multiplied times 7, so the very best week of your life. We'll give everybody a few moments to jump on here. This will be posted obviously on the Mandino page, and excited to do this. This was a decision we made in our executive meeting to give back, to provide value to those who are so faithful in their Mandino, love of Mandino. I had an amazing experience this last weekend. I'm going to share it with you. We do couples retreats up at our cabin in Bear Lake. We call them Mandino couples retreats. It's an opportunity to bring a couple up and work on their relationships. A big shout out today to Brian at Beaver Creek Lodge. Brian has been providing us with snowmobiles for 25 years. Every year he has brand new machines, climb gear. You go there to get a snowmobile from Brian, and you've got the boots and the suits and the head socks and the gloves and the helmet, everything you need, and a guide if you'd like one to take you up into those beautiful mountains. What a beautiful place, just incredible place. Well, this last weekend had the privilege of having just a really fun couple who came from South Florida. Now think about this, South Florida to snow in the mountains, quite an adventure. It turns out that they had been studying the scrolls for 5 months. And then they found the Mandino Leadership Institute and found out that we do couples retreats. And they want to do a little tune-up on their marriage. And so they made the decision last week. We had a couple that moved to later in March. And all of a sudden we had an opening, and they just grabbed it and came. And what a great experience. Ramy, gosh, I love him. His wife, Tatiana, Smitty, they're from South Florida, the Fort Lauderdale area. Tatiana is the mother of 2 children, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. She's got her MBA. She's a brilliant woman. And Ramy is the founder of an IT company, the CPU Squad. And I share that with you because if there's anybody in South Florida who's listening to this that has an IT challenge, this is the kind of guy you want to have in your business, in your home, solving your problems. They have been faithfully studying the scrolls. So I want to put you on the mountain with us. We just climbed Sandy's Hill, and that takes quite a commitment. I was watching Tatiana go up the hill. I'm the last one. We've got a guide to lead, and I'm the last one. And she hits this big bump, and she just hung on. She got to the top, started drifting a little bit to the left, and leaned her body really hard to the right and stayed where she needed to be and got to the top. And we all got to the top of Sandy's Hill. And it would be there that we would make the decision with our guide, Josh. And by the way, Josh, if you go ask for Josh, he's an incredible guide. It was the decision, do we take the rest of the climb? Well, the rest of the climb is to St. Charles Peak, which is the highest peak in the area. And on this voyage, I knew this, about 30 feet to your right, there is a sheer drop off, almost 1,000 feet. To your left, not too far, there's a drop off of several hundred feet. It's pretty technical. You got to be very careful working your way up the crest of this mountain up to the very peak. Well, we got there. How exciting. We got there. And when we got there, it was socked in. I mean, we were in the clouds, so you really couldn't see very much other than the sense of accomplishment and the smile on everyone's face for having conquered this mountain. Then we went down the mountain, thing called the Pig Trough, which is like a giant half pike. Just get to have a lot of fun going down, then into Egan Valley, and then to the warming hut because, we were so excited to have lunch and to sit in this warming hut. And when we got there were 10 snowmobiles outside. This is a little A-frame with a furnace inside, a little wood stove. And clearly this was not going to be the place we wanted it to be today. And our guide, Josh, said, I'll tell you what, let's go down to Gibson Basin and I'll go up in the trees while you guys play in the basin, and I'll build a fire and we'll sit around a fire. So we did. We worked our way down to Gibson Basin, and we're playing on Gibson, going as fast as these machines would go in the powder and the snow, and it's exciting. And he went up in the trees and built us a fire. Eagle Scout, clearly an Eagle Scout. And we all gathered in the woods to have our lunch. And Rami said, it's time for my noonday reading. For Tatiana's, my noonday reading of scroll number 5. I'll live this day as if it is my last. What a fitting scroll. He said, could we all read it together? Absolutely. So I want you to picture all of us around this beautiful campfire. There's green in the bottom so it wouldn't sink too deep in the snow, because every time we got off of our machines, we're up to our thighs and, in the snow. And a beautiful campfire. We're eating these wonderful wraps that Ramona had made, and passing this phone around, reading scroll 5. I'll let not one drop spill upon the sand. I'll seal up this container of life. Yes. I'll not waste one moment mourning yesterday's defeats, yesterday's aches of the heart. Why should I throw good after bad? What an inspiring moment. It had to be one of my favorite moments reading the scrolls ever. In a few weeks, I've asked Rami and his wife, Tatiana, to join us for one of these sessions. So you're going to get to meet this couple, because the story gets even better, if it's possible. They have already invited dozens of people to join them in studying the scrolls. He pulled out his WhatsApp and showed me all the comments for weeks. First reading of the day, second reading of the day, third reading of the day. People were holding each other accountable to their individual reading the scrolls wherever they were in the scrolls, whether on the first or the second or the third or the fourth or fifth or on, etc. And Saturday afternoon, Rami had this great idea. What would you think if we invited them to come on to a Zoom call and just talk to them? What a great idea. So we did. And we got to talk about the scrolls, and we got to do a question and answer. And some of the questions I'll share with you. There was a question, for an example, if I stop reading the scrolls, do I start over again? No, you pick up where you left off, because this won't be your last time through the scrolls. I've been doing this for 25 years. Additionally, do I read them or do I listen to them? Well, in 1968, we had 8 tracks. We didn't have cassettes, let alone audiobooks. And now we have a recorded in 1996 by Mandino, the year he passed away. You can get it on ogmandino.com. Go there and get the MP3 files of Og narrating the 10 scrolls. If you're an auditory learner, if you learn better by listening, then listen to them. Now, I like reading it out loud just before you go to sleep, because there's just something powerful about that. But letting these scrolls feed you in the morning so that your level of consciousness is more awake. At noon, to sustain that. And just before you go to bed, so that these principles can seep into your mysterious mind, that one that never sleeps, the one that makes us act in ways we do not comprehend. What a great thing to do, and to be able to be with them. We're going to have Rami and Tatiana come on and share with us how they put this group together, because we would love to see groups like this all over the country spontaneously supporting each other in the studying of the scrolls. I want to say hi to those who've joined us. See some really dear friends here. Thank you. Great to have you all here. And there's Rami. He's with us this morning. Thanks, Rami. Thanks for joining us. It is so exciting to see what these principles can do in a person's life, making us more teachable, more humble, more awake, more alert, more conscious, more kind, more compassionate. Ultimately, more successful. Now, I wanted to give you just a touch of what's coming. Touch of what's coming. I've had great concerns about entrepreneurial minds, great people who want to create something magnificent with their lives, and they just don't know how. They might vividly visualize, but if life is really tough and they just want it less stressful and a little easier, they might use their gifting to go into escape and avoid fantasy, going to a time when something's happened, and then imagining what it's going to be like after that, versus going and getting a clear vision of what we're going to create, then coming back and taking the actions to actually create it. And when we go there for escape and avoid catastrophizing, I remember asking a friend once, what would your life be like if you stopped worrying? You might ponder this question. What would you do? Drop us a note this morning while we're alive. What would you do? What would your life be like? I got the most profound answer ever. He said, I'd be non-existent. Non-existent. In other words, that's where he spends most of his quiet, private time in his mind, is worrying. Oh my goodness, my friends. It is time for us to learn how to dream. Og tells us in scroll 8, I'll multiply my value 100-fold. He compares us to a grain of wheat. He says we can be put in a sack, dumped in a stall, and fed to swine. We can be ground into flour, made into bread, broken open and devoured by the will of others. Or we can willingly plant ourselves in the darkness of the soil. That's being humble. Root word humus, darkness of the soil, in order to ripen, in order to mature, to grow and sprout into 100 grains of wheat. We are to multiply our value 100-fold. I don't have any more time. Well, we stop worrying. We stop escape and avoid fantasy. We're going to find hours in the day. I know I found 3 more hours in my day just by stopping the worrying. I grew up in a family where worrying was the norm. We worried. Then if it didn't turn out so bad, we got to go, that was our source of joy. It didn't turn out so bad. That's not the joy we want to find. Let's free up our minds, because I want to walk through every Monday morning, just a piece, to help you free up your mind, to be able to dare to dream big dreams. Dreams that are so big, you don't know how you're going to create them. And what you know is you can't get from where you are to where you want to be thinking the way you're thinking. So you'll want to study the scrolls, learn the principles, practices, and processes to shift these thought processes so that you're thinking like someone would think who has that kind of a reality in their life. We want to learn how to bring the energy from that into the present so that we can show up being our true self and not subject to our unhealthy habits of thinking, which is often our dominant voice. When we hear our real voice, it's like somebody else talking to us. We want to learn how to own that voice, our natural genius. And you do have natural genius. In preparation for this, I want you all to go to habitfinder.com. Habitfinder.com. It's really simple. It's an official Mandino company. You get to measure your habits of thinking. It takes you 15 minutes. Do that in preparation for these Monday sessions so that when you come to this Monday session and we're working on a habit of thinking, you have an idea of how your habits of thinking want you to behave. Wow, that one would support me. Wow, there's natural genius. I haven't been accessing that unless I get a deadline and stop procrastinating, and then I'm surprised how incredible it is. I'm going to start thinking and learning how to think consistent with the kind of person who can create these magnificent dreams. So let's start in preparation for next Monday. Dreaming. Let's consider possibilities bigger than big. And then let's bring them next Monday. And each Monday, Let me give you just a couple of pieces to help you that week in taking the actions necessary to start creating that dream so that you can actually live it. I want you to know, I know this place. I know this process. And I live in it. And it is so exciting to get a clear vision, to run into those thought processes that aren't serving and to root them out of our lives and to get to that next level, to keep our eye on the goal above our head and ignore these obstacles at our feet, this unhealthy habit of thinking. Where this dry desert ends, green grass grows. I want you to know it actually does grow. And we get those dry deserts as wonderful moments to hear our dialogue, shift, and experience the green grass. I'm so excited to be with you in this process. I'm going to share something with you this morning. I've been asked to write the lyrics to a song, a beautiful piece of music. It's written by a Nashville artist, Randy Karchner, great human being. I dared to dream to write it. Use these very principles. I'm going to share the lyrics with you in just a moment. I'm not going to sing it because I don't want anybody to get sick. But he sent me last night the last part of the score of the orchestra. And I sat in our love seat with Ramona listening to this last night. When we get together at 9 o'clock, I played this for her. I was emotional. This is going to be a magnificent piece of music. The dream took us to an animated film, The Dreaming Tree. Little girl goes out into the woods and finds a tree that teaches her how to dream. A wise old tree. Teaches her how to create those dreams. Interestingly, she had to leave the village to create them. One of the dreams she had was to become a best-selling author of children's books. And the book is The Dreaming Tree, and she writes the book. And her daughter's with her, 5-year-old, when she's reading this to an audience, wants to know, is it really a dreaming tree? She says, yes. She takes her daughter to the dreaming tree. Her daughter's already seen it in her imagination. And sitting in this tree, the mother sings this song. I want you to feel these lyrics because they came in those inspired moments when we dare to dream. Here they are. Deep in the night, when the whispers are real, words softly spoken, voices we feel, calling us higher than we've ever flown, giving us wings to a world yet unknown. Just dream. Come with me and dream. Putting all the fear behind you, all the chains that bind you, all the doubts that make you scream. Just dream. Seeking of ease steals our purpose and peace. Broken and angry, we cry for relief. But dreaming inspires us to reach for the stars, healing our wounds and removing the scars. Just dream. Come with me and dream. Putting all the fear behind you, all the chains that bind you, all the doubts that make you scream. Just dream. Come with me and dream. Putting all the shame behind you, all the tears that blind you, all the rage that makes you scream. Remember all the pain and fear that has crushed your life and stole your dreams for years. Reach deep down inside your soul. Feel the flame that burns. Declare the truth you know. Just dream. Come with me and dream. Putting all the fear behind you, all the chains that bind you, all the doubts that make you scream. Just dream. Come with me and dream. Putting all the gravity behind you, letting hope and joy remind you to become the one that finds you when you dream. Deep in the night, when the whispers are real. It's time. It's time to put away a desire for ease and less stress. It's time to awaken our natural genius, to embrace our goodness, to bring it fully to the service of others. It is time for us to get a clear vision of what we want to create in our lives, and then a willingness to take the actions to actually create it and find the joy that comes in the creation process, not in just the receiving of the gift, but in the creation of it. It's time. It's time for us to do this and find the joy that comes. And frankly, the healing. The healing. That when you learn how to step into a person's world and love them, take down their walls, when their energy and cooperation floods out to you, get an inspired idea and you act on it and prove that it's inspired, and you trust it or trusted and know and are known. When you're living in your natural genius, not ego, but being fully available, genuine, root word genus, living in your genius, bringing it fully to the service of another person. And now you're in creation. In creation. Working on the millimeters. Each one creating and celebrating, creating and celebrating. It's time. I'll see you next Monday morning at 8 o'clock sharp, Mountain Standard Time. And let's go to work on identifying and creating your dreams in tangible reality. Not only do you deserve it, it's critical that you learn how to do this so you too can teach other people how to do it. The world's getting really discouraged. It's time. Let us jump in. Let us learn this. I'll be so excited to teach it to you. And I hope you're okay if I use that phrase, teach it to you. Oh, did I get taught, and very thoroughly. Some of it was not pleasant, but so excited to speed up your process if you're ready to do it. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the great comments. Looking forward to being with you next Monday morning, 8 a.m. Till then, take your habitfinder.com, habitfinder at habitfinder.com, so you can bring just print out the summary sheets so you've got them with you, because I'll be referencing those. And for those of you who are interested, go to Habitfinder, the Habitfinder Facebook page tomorrow at noon Mountain Time. Paul, who's the president of the Mandino Leadership, does a coaching session. You don't want to miss that. So make sure you jump in and get that experience as well. So join Paul tomorrow. Come back next Monday. Let us see if we can help you move the needle in your life and have you enjoy the success. And Rami, I just saw you in here again. If you're in South Florida and you need some IT work, the CPU, I almost said it wrong. Rami, I apologize. Let me make sure I got this correct, because it's so important that it be correct. We want to go to, Rami, would you put it in the text in a copy? The CPU, I'm almost there. The CPU squad just wouldn't come. The CPUsquad.com. Go to his website. Check it out. We had so much fun playing with my iPhone. I learned some crazy cool things this weekend, just having him share with me. So everyone, take your habit finder. See you next Monday. Let's start dreaming. Thank you.